Here we go now. A case of beer, some bop. There's no doubt that I'm better than you. With these looks and these moves, you can't blame me for being so rude. The land of the red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy. The trailer park is where I'm from. You better believe I have about 27 guns. Baseball games.
Check. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
I'm leagues above you other dumb schmucks. I'm from where the women are hot and the Twinkies are deep fried. And every day I pledge allegiance to God and country. I'm the American guy. And I know there's a lot of people who are jealous of all the great things that I've got. And you know, when I sit down and take a look at it,
Happy Friday evening, ladies and gentlemen, or afternoon, or whatever time it is, wherever you is. My name is Grandpa Choco, and welcome to the final Filsinger Games Fan Podcast of 2021. I am excited to have you here today. I am excited for this show. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned today. We'll be taking a look at the top 5 Filsinger Games releases of 2021. I always wait till the last minute. I always wait till the last day of 2021 because I figure today Filsinger Games can't possibly release something else. Maybe they could. Maybe they could surprise me, and in an hour from now, they're going to release, I don't know, something that I have no idea that they're going to release. But, you know, I never know. You never know. So I always wait till the last day, and here we are. It's great to have you along. This is the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, episode number 75. Holy cow. We are only 25 short episodes away from the big 100. But the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast is the podcast that's ready to ring in the new year with some red and blue dice. Welcome, everybody. Want to send a special shout out to all our Patreon patrons, the folks who make this show possible. And we've gotten a few patrons recently, specifically from the Filsinger Games content. So really appreciate that. Shout out to our patron producers, Dorothy Pachoco, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, David Akers, and Vicky Sebring. If you would like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media. I got all choked up because of the support of everybody. Well, we're going to get to the top 5 of 2021. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get to some news. Now, you know, this is a slow news week, but you know what? There is news. There is news. And, the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast is here to cover that news. And it's news you may not hear elsewhere. So we are going to get right to it. First thing is a Ringside companion update. Mike was on the new episode of Uncharted Territory that just landed late last night, early this morning. I haven't finished the whole thing, but Mike did say that according to right now, they don't want to give any firm dates because we all know how that goes on the message boards. But it's looking like the Ringside Companion will ship in the first part of January. So hopefully that is the case, and everyone's super excited to get this Ringside Companion, and me as well. Moving on to some news for Legends of Wrestling, the Legends of Wrestling card and dice game. I don't know if you saw this, but the Legends Prime 2020 Handbook PDF is now available. We've talked about this on the show before. The Legends team and Pike Mojo are combining forces to produce these really, really awesome Legends of Wrestling handbooks that are just like the printed handbooks. These are in PDF form, but they're laid out the same way as the physical handbooks that you get with some of the sets. And the Legends Prime 2020 handbook has now been posted. I'll have a link to it in the show notes so you can get it and download it. My plan is still to get these all printed out, but I'm waiting for a few more of them to be released so I can, because these will have to be laid out in sort of page order and stuff like that. But I want to do it all at once. So super excited for this. I may even make a Legends Prime, like a big book that has several of them all in one. But anyway, very excited to get these. Amazing work. I would love to see, there's a lot of releases that get the PDF treatment. Most recently, I got the Best of the Indies Women International set that came out, and the PDF was very nice that it came out with, but I would love to see this sort of thing happen with those releases as well, where it's sort of like this nice handbook version of something. So very cool. Check this out. Again, I will have a link in the show notes. And we have some, just a tiny bit of news about Legends Expansion 9, which should come out in March. According to the folks on Uncharted Territory, the roster has been chosen, including the Promoter Prime. Now, they did not say how many are going to be in Legends Expansion 9, but, because they're calling it Expansion 9, I'm thinking at least you're going to have 8 cards at the very least, hopefully 10, and then maybe 12 like we just got in Memphis. But because they're calling it an expansion pack, that leads me to believe that we're going to have more than just 4, like the Ringside Personnel 4-pack or the Pacific Northwest 4-pack. So this sounds like it's going to be a solid expansion. Now, they did not give any sort of hints about any sort of theme, except to say that it has more of a broader theme than recent sets. Now, I hope that isn't their way of saying it's a women's set, because that's not very nice to call women, but they're saying it has a broader theme. I'm just kidding, guys. I know you wouldn't do that. More of a broader theme than recent sets. So, I don't know what that means, but I guess we'll find out. We'll get some more news at the Perennial that is coming up in January. So there it is. That's all the Legends news. As always, to keep up on the latest, head on over to filsingergames.com. That is the place, your number one source for all the news as it comes out over there. Well, it's time to move on to our top 5 of 2021. Now, before we get into this, I want to say that this is my top 5 of 2021. Okay. I know you're going to have different ideas. This is mine, and I'm no way saying at all that this is a definitive list. So I know this is the internet, and people get mad on the internet when people say their top 5 of things. And so I'm just saying this is my top 5. Your top 5 is probably very different. Now, on the Uncharted Territory podcast, Chad. It was Chad said we can have as many honorable mentions as we want. So I do have a couple of honorable mentions to start things off, and those are as follows. First of all, the con exclusive cards, most notably the Legends con exclusive cards that we had in 2021. Just above and beyond. We had Nacho Barrera, we had Iron Mike McCord, and we had the Piper's Pit card that was a physical card only. It wasn't available online, but those con-exclusive Legends cards were just awesome, and I really, really hope, fingers crossed, that those continue going forward. I hope we get another one in January at the Perennial. So just excellent work on those con-exclusive cards, and if anyone wants an autographed Nacho Barrera card, I got one. You're going to have to pay a high price for it, but I got one. The next thing I want to give an honorable mention to is Future Shock 2117. Mike did a great job on this set. The artwork is great. The characters are a lot of fun. The story is great, and it's going to be interesting to see where the story goes from here. Excited to see what is in store for the Future Shock set. And the last honorable mention I want to give is Legends Prime 2021. Even if adorable Adrian Adonis did get screwed out of being in this set, I'm totally kidding. This set had some huge names. From top to bottom, they were great releases all year. The Dream Team at the beginning of the year, all the way through to, PG-13 at the end, and of course the true King of Memphis, Jimmy Hart, being released as well. And what fun was it to have one quarter be a complete mystery? I hope that is done again, because it's just so fun to get a surprise in the mail. So great work there on Legends Prime 2021. All right, moving into my top 5. The number 5 spot is going to go to the Ringside Personnel Pack. I mean, come on, we've got Heenan and Monsoon in a prime time wrestling card. How awesome was that to get Gorilla Monsoon in the game? These cards add so much spice to a Fed, and it's really a unique set. And I hope we see more of these kind of cards in the future. Now, we did, of course, with the Lance Russell card. But one thing I loved about this set, and probably my favorite feature, is how the Primetime Wrestling card interacted with the other cards, like the announcer card or the referee. So you could roll an option on the Primetime Wrestling card that would lead you to one of these other cards to roll something on there. And I really think that this I don't know, it's just fun. It's just a fun, unique thing. I hope we continue to see more of these cards, perhaps another 4 set of these type of cards in the future, because they are a lot of fun. And the Ringside Personnel 4-pack gets my vote for number 5. Moving on to number 4, and that is the Best of the Indies Deathmatch set. This set, now here's the thing, I will say right off the top, I am not a deathmatch fan. I hardly watch any deathmatch stuff. I used to go to XPW events, but that is about the extent of my deathmatch watching. But this was great, and as I said, I'm not a fan of this, but I understand. I get it. For those that are fans, this has some heavy hitters, and on top of that, the artwork for this set is some of the most compelling and great artwork that Werner has done for an indie set, just in a long time. Not that the other art is not great. This set just is like a step up, and it's really, really fantastic. You got Nick Gage as an SD card. You've got the amazing deathmatch chart. Congrats to everybody, Zeke and everybody else who was involved with making this set, because this set was a real standout in the indies line, and I just it was one I had to pick. I don't buy a lot of the indie set, but this is one that I had to pick up because it was so great. So the Best of Indies 2021 Deathmatch set gets my vote for number 4. Moving on to number 3, and this might surprise a lot of people. Number 3 is Legends Expansion Pack 8. Let me ask you this. How stacked were the releases this year if a whole Memphis wrestling set places at number 3? A set that has Austin Idol and Dutch Mantel and the Fabulous Ones. It comes in at number 3. This must have been a stacked year. But what a great set this is. And I will say that out of all the Legends sets that were released this year in 2021, this is probably the one that has the most cards that will get the most playtime on my game table, because I really can't. I think except for Brickhouse Brown, maybe that's and PG-13, although they were prime. Those are maybe the only cards I'm not looking to use, instantly right away. Everybody else was a great name. This was a great release. Super excited we got this in the set, and just fantastic and worthy of a spot in the top 5 for all the great work. I think the artwork is some of the best. I think the Moondogs artwork is just really, really, really fun. Yeah, this is just a great expansion pack, and yeah, I got nothing else to say. It's a great pack. Moving on to number 2. Now, this was hard. Number 2 and number 1, I went back and forth with, and finally had to make up my mind. Number 2 is the TRAGOS THESZ Hall of Fame 2021 set. To know why this ranks so high on the list, all you have to do is look at the cover. Kurt Angle, Bob Backlund, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Gorilla Monsoon. This set is stacked. This is, I mean, as I said, this was almost my number 1. But look at this set. Look at these names, and so many names who we thought, oh, this will never happen. This will, like some of these names, they could never be in here. Well, look, we thought Roddy Piper could never get a color card. We got it. Now, yes, of course, he didn't wind up in digital, and I know some people are upset about that, but hopefully that'll change in the future. Just an incredible set. Congratulations to the Legends team for putting this together. Man, oh man, just amazing. And I look forward to the set that's coming out next year. I mean, I don't even know, and I hope there is a set. I assume there will be one. I just, holy cow, what an amazing set this was. And very much could have been number 1 on my list. But when I really sat down to think about it, the one that did get number 1 is number 1, and I'll explain why in a second. But the Hall of Fame set, huge number 2 on this top 5 list. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for number 1. Number 1 on my top 5 list for 2021 is none other than Origins 2137, Champions of the Galaxy Origins 2137. I played more cards in a game year than I have in a long time because of this set. Usually I'll do about 25 to 30 game cards in a year. This year I played 40. I just loved playing this set. I loved the characters. I'll say, like, not necessarily even the invasion storyline of the gladiators invading Castellax, but just the characters that Tom put together in this set just had this great chemistry where you could have guys fight other guys, and it just worked. And how about this art? This art, I will say, is a total home run, and in my opinion, the best art we've seen in a Champions of the Galaxy set, I think, ever. Yes, I just said it. I think ever. You know, I love the old original Chuck Carter art, but if you're talking modern day colored artwork, Champions of the Galaxy stuff, this set is now the standard, the gold standard, and it's just absolutely amazing. Tom nailed it with the stats on the cards. And really the only negative thing I can say about this set, and I know I've said it on the podcast before, is that the PDF handbook still hasn't been fixed, and the graphics in the PDF handbook are just pixelated and awful. And this artwork deserves better than that. But this set is, get a physical copy of this set, because even if you don't play the physical game, having these cards in your hand are just awesome and just fantastic artwork. And that's why this is my number 1, Origins 2137. I think it's just really one of the greatest game editions that has come out in a long time. And I'm so excited to see where 2138 takes us. So there you go. There is my top 5 of 2021. The Ringside Personnel Pack at number 5. The Best of Indies Deathmatch at number 4. The Memphis Legends Expansion 8 as number 3. The TRAGOS THESZ Hall of Fame Set 2 as number 2. And Origins 2137 as my number 1. I would love to know what your top 5 is. You can leave them in the comments. This isn't the question of the show, but I would love to know your top 5, because the great thing about this game is that everybody can have their own opinion, and each opinion can be celebrated. You know what? I got one more honorable mention. And this honorable mention, I'm squeezing into the place that is usually the part of the show where we talk about the bootleg corner. And that honorable mention is going to be my bootleg set that I put out earlier this year, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood Act 3. I think this was just a great set of guys. It was so much fun working with each of these wrestlers and with Todd Kennelly about their cards. They were so involved in their cards and their artwork and all this stuff. And this was just a fun set to put out. And I hope everyone who got one enjoys it. I hope you've had fun using them or collecting them or whatever. And guess what? We ain't done yet. We have 2 new Championship Wrestling from Hollywood cards that are being finalized as I talk right now. And by finalized, I mean the cards are being laid out. So they're going to go to the printer very, very soon. I would say within the next 2 weeks, the cards will be at the printer, and then I'll be boxing them up and getting them out to you. So if you are not on my mailing list, get in touch and I will get you on the mailing list. The cards are absolutely free. There's no cost to them. And I would love to send them to you. If you've also moved since you received Act 3 in the mail, get in touch with me and I will update your email address. At the very end of the year here, I recently had every Championship Wrestling from Hollywood bootleg card I've done reprinted for my archives. I got just a couple, it was 40 cards in all. I got them all reprinted, just a couple sets just for my archives. But during that print run, I came away with a few leftovers of some of the cards. I had complete sets of all 40 cards, and then I had a few leftovers. So if you're missing a card that I've produced from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood over the years, get in touch. I'll put a link in the show notes to the thread that lists all the cards. And I may be able to help you. I don't have duplicate copies of all of them, but I have copies of some of them. So I may be able to help you out if you're missing one or two. So please, please, please get in touch. All right, well, it's time for the match of the show. Last week, we had a big match between Anarchy and Crossfire. It ended pretty quickly in disqualification, so I asked you what type of rematch we should have, and we had some great responses. Titan Death Match, a Cosmic Cage match, a Central Coffin match, and then just no rematch. Somebody just did not want to see this match happen again. Well, I put all of those options into a big blender. I mixed them up, and we have a rematch, and it's going to be just a simple Titan death match. So this might really, really favor Anarchy with his DQ of 7, but Crossfire gets a little hardcore out of the ring too. So this is for the Podcast Grand Championship. We are going to ring the bell here after rolling for initiative, and it looks like Crossfire is actually going to start things up. No disqualifications, no countouts. Whirling Kick 2, an agility move. Crossfire has the agility. Dazing Anarchy. Crossfire continues with a back elbow to Anarchy. Anarchy is dazed. Crossfire rolls a body slam 2. It's a power move. Anarchy has the power, so he's going to reverse that on level 2, and he's going to choke. He's going to choke Crossfire with the... Oh, the bell is broken. What's happening with the bell? Sorry, if there's something up with the bell. Hopefully you don't hear anything now. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Yes, the bell is broken. All right, we'll get that fixed. So here we go. Sorry about that. I apologize to everyone. So choke on the ropes, hurt 2. So Anarchy continuing on level 2 offense. Suicide dive off the turnbuckle. Hurt 2. Anarchy rolling again. Knee to the back of the head 2, but it's an agility move. Crossfire continues with a takedown bow 2. He reverses it. Hurt 2. Crossfire in control now with a limb twist 2. Dazed 1. Crossfire rolling a body slam 2, but it's a power move, so Anarchy will reverse it there. Choke on the ropes again by Anarchy. Crossfire reversing on level 1. and throws Anarchy into the turnbuckle. And Anarchy bounced forward into an incredible neck-breaking clothesline. Opponent rolls on level 3 offense. He hits the bullseye, rolling the pin here. It is +2, so the target will be 4. The roll is a 9, 1 fatigue token for Anarchy as Crossfire hits a punch to the spine, choice C. He is going to go for the agility move. It'll work on an 8 or less. Rolls a 4, so he gets it. Hurt 2 on Anarchy. Crossfire with a choice A. Choice A into the ropes. I'm just reading everybody's comments about the bell. Again, I apologize about the bell. Atomic Drop 2, choice A. So he is going to throw Anarchy into the ropes. Anarchy goes in, and the opponent used one of his specialty moves on you, goes in for the kill. Level 3, and Crossfire hits the bow and arrow, +1. So this target will be 4 again. The roll is 12. Another big kick out by Anarchy, who is now at 2 fatigue, and Crossfire follows it right up with the bullseye, a +2 move, so the target is 6, and the roll is a 4. Ding, 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 ding. I don't want to hit the bell button again, but we have a winner, and we have a brand new champion, ladies and gentlemen, Crossfire. And we didn't even need the Titan Death rules, but there you go. Crossfire is your new champion. So let me know who you think Crossfire should face on the next card, the first card of the year. He is our new podcast grand champion, and excited to see who you want to put up against him. So there you go. That is the match of the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the question of the show. Last week I asked you what was your favorite Filsinger Games release of 2021. It had a lot of great responses, and Doug Fletcher, a brand new patron, thank you Doug, said, while the Hall of Fame set was great, my favorite has to be the Ringside Personnel 4-pack. I enjoy running the studio show using the Bobby Heenan Gorilla Monsoon card. Doug, I agree with you. I got to use that card more often. I think I only used it once, and then I switched to Champions of the Galaxy to play out that, so I need to get back to that. ScottyBoy9999 says, my favorite release is Origins 2137. As much as I love all the other stuff, the core Champions of the Galaxy release is the bread and butter of Filsinger Games in my eyes, and will always be what I wait for the most. The artwork in this edition was off the charts, making it extra special. ScottyBoy, if you listen this far in the podcast, you know that I absolutely agree with you. Pariah says, Filsinger Game releases were absolutely awesome this year, but my fave would have to be the TRAGOS THESZ Hall of Fame 2 set. I have to agree with that. Dave Little also agrees. Definitely a fan of the Hall of Fame set. Also very excited for the color version of Tommy Rich. Dave, I'm right there with you. Tommy Rich has been on a fire, both in my Memphis Fed and in Hollywood Elite Wrestling. So it's exciting to see where he will go. Carl Zilla said, my favorite Filsinger game release this year was the TRAGOS THESZ Hall of Fame 2 set, followed closely by expansion 7, which is the vintage set, which we didn't even get to, but yes, the vintage set, which with the vintage charts. Carl Zilla saying, I'm a sucker for Pioneer and Golden Era wrestling. And Joe M followed it up with, my favorite release of the year was Best of the Indies 2021. Again, fantastic year of releases, and I thank you all for letting me know what you thought of. So here's my question for next week, because next week we're going to look into Oracle's crystal ball and try and predict what's going to happen in 2022. So my question to you is, what is your bold prediction for Filsinger Games in 2022? Answer in the comments below, and we will have them on the show next week. Hey, we've got a lot of stuff elsewhere on the YouTube channel. It's been a big week. Now that all my work is done, I was able to pump out a few videos. I did a video on the update of my custom gaming mats from Inked Gaming. It's just a short little update, but I think an important one. Hollywood Elite Wrestling number 60 saw Tommy Rich go up against Harley Race in the main event for the title, but we had other big matches on that card that you're not going to want to miss. I got my Legends Prime 2021 overview done and posted, and card 5 of the Memphis Project. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up here, I got one more thing. Remember when Steve Jobs used to say, I got one more thing? I got one more thing. The reason for this podcast and the reason for my YouTube channel, the way I see it anyway, is to just have fun with Filsinger Games and to just enjoy playing Filsinger Games. And so I said to myself, how can I bring more fun to people playing this game? And so that's why in 2022, I am super excited to announce that we are going to do something, a little experiment called Podcast Prime. Now, what is Podcast Prime? Podcast Prime is going to be some quarterly releases exclusively for listeners of this podcast. And the releases will benefit the TRAGOS THESZ Hall of Fame. Now, this will include game cards, like wrestler game cards, but we're also going to experiment with a few different kinds of releases that I think you're going to love. I don't want to say too much about them yet, but I really think that you're going to like the ideas I have, if I can make them happen. It's all a big experiment. But I'm super excited to do this. I'm super excited to do something that will help raise money all year for the TRAGOS THESZ Hall of Fame. And I really hope you like this. So I wanted to give you a little teaser of what the kinds of things I'm thinking of. And I don't want to say what the non-wrestler game card type things yet, but I do want to talk about one card that is going to come up in Podcast Prime. It's sort of a co-production between Corey Olsen from the Uncharted Territories, Zeke Gould, but you are gold in my eyes, Zeke. Zeke Gould from the Indies thing, and myself. I was having a conversation with Corey, and Corey mentioned that he used Adam Pearce's card from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, the first set, in his Legends stat, but he tweaked the stats a little bit so that he could use it in his Legends Fed. And I said to him, if you don't mind, let's make a card of it. So one of the things we were working on for Podcast Prime is an Adam Pearce, I would say sort of Legends card, because Adam Pearce didn't really get like Colt Cabana got a Legends card, and there was sort of that time period where all these indie guys kind of got Legends card, and I kind of think Adam Pearce deserved a Legends card. I mean, God, he was just a fantastic NWA champion. So what you see now on the screen is the initial sketch for that card. It's going to have different stats for the most part on the back of the card from the Championship Wrestling from Hollywood card that was in the first set. This may or may not be part of the Q1 releases for Podcast Prime, but I just thought you'd like to see a sneak preview of this kind of card and the kind of stuff we're working on. Now, I'll have more information about Podcast Prime as we get into January and how you can take part and some of the things that we're working on, but it's really going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that it gets folks excited and it gets folks excited to help support the TRAGOS THESZ Hall of Fame, because it's certainly a worthy cause. Well, as we wrap up here, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I usually play music under this part, but because the game, this software is acting funny with the sounds, I don't want to risk it. But I do want to give a shout out to our other friends of the show, Uncharted Territory. They had a new episode that dropped today. After further review with Steve Tower, he's been streaming just a ton of stuff, so go check his stuff out. Dave Little with Heartland Championship Wrestling. Roll Up, the official podcast of Filsinger Games. They had a new episode as well just the other night. Lee Longpre's Dizzy Dice podcast. Hasn't had an episode in a while, but hoping that Lee gets back to it. And of course, Brockster Builds on Twitch TV, just building a Twitch empire over there on his Twitch channel. Links to all of these are in the show notes, so you can definitely go over and make it real easy for you to click and listen and join the fun. And speaking of joining the fun, hey, how about checking out the Filsinger Games Fan Discord channel? We've had there's a lot of great discussion going on right now about the upcoming Legends set and what people are hoping to see in the Legends set. And there's always some great Fed results posted over there. There's a channel where you can talk talk specifically about the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast and all the other podcasts in the Filsinger Games universe. And you can get there by going to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/FGF Discord. bit.ly/FGF Discord, and that's how you can join the fun. Hey, did you know that there's an audio version of this podcast? Well, there is. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, some Samsung phones, just anywhere you get podcasts. Just search for Filsinger Games in your favorite audio store, and it'll pop right up. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on social media at GWF Promoter. You can check out my personal feds at gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. The theme song, when you do hear it, is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. And this episode, the very last episode of 2021, is copyright 2021 Saturday Morning Media. Huge shout out to Christopher Merriman, Ronan II, Michael Brown, Michael Bratta, Thomas Morgan, Jeff Peterson, Michael Brown, who I think I said Todd is here as well. Todd Waris. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Todd. With a last name like Bachoco, you think I would be better at pronouncing names. Warzicki? Todd Warzicki. I apologize. And just thank you to you. Thanks for a fantastic year. Hope you had a great holidays. I will see you next Friday, the 7th. For another recording of the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. Have a good one, everybody. I will talk to you later. Goodbye. I'm the American guy. American guy. Yeah, yeah.